Pat Coogan was next to the presser, I guess the first presser after the spring game. They asked him about his personal progress and the team's progress. He said he's gelling, kind of learning the new system and the team as he goes. He's in a much better position now than he was when he first came in. It's funny to hear the Mekhi, not funny, it's not funny that Mekhi Jackson got hurt, but that fourth practice was kind of like resonated in my mind because that's the day Coogan showed up. So it's like you think of that as a good day, but then you're like, yeah, we lost a receiver too. So it's like, I don't know if that's a great thing. But he also said as the unit, they've taken a lot of strides, but they still have plenty of work to do. This is something Carter Smith echoed too in his presser. The offensive line, from what I'm gathering, and from what the takeaways from the spring game, look really good, mean, physical, dominant. They also feel like they're a ways away and have a lot of work to do, which is exciting.
Well, yeah, you got to take that next step. You always got to just keep, it's never done until you win the championship. So it's like, there's work to be done. We haven't gone to Indy yet. We haven't won a CFP playoff game. And these are the things that these guys want to do, and they just haven't done it. So it doesn't really matter how good they think they are. And I'm sure Sig's doing a great job of reminding them how not good they are. I'm sure he's doing a great job at it. I'm sure they don't need to hear me talk about it, but yeah.
They asked Coogan the differences between obviously last year. They keep going back to this question of like last year versus this year, specifically for Coogan because he played them in December.
Real original media.
Yeah.
As the media myself.
He said the defense is super talented. Mikhail is going to ruin game plans. And then he specifically talked about Wheeler and Tyreek Tucker being really tough, hard-nosed players that are going to make plays in the backfield. They asked him about the run game. Or do you have any thought on game plan? Anything surprise you there with what Coogan's saying?
He thinks Tyreek Tucker is really good. That doesn't surprise me at all. No, I don't.
It talks about the run game. He said they can do both. He said it's explosive. They could also ground and pound. So they could do both. They could rip the trunk plays. They can go and get 3 yards in a cloud of dust. He said it's hard to project out the run game. But he's excited about the process and excited about the way things are going. And then Carter Smith was a little bit more forward. He talked about how exciting it was blocking for Roman Hemby and talking about like how many different options Hemby gives them as a runner. He also talked about Kaelon Black being extremely explosive and just getting after it. He didn't specifically mention Lee Beebe. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm just saying
Carter Smith. Monster, we're fine.
Yeah,
we got 3 savages back there toting the rock.
I mean, but yeah, not that the run game wasn't explosive last year, and we continue to say this because like Ellison and Lawton were phenomenal last year, but there's just a different element of explosion in the room this year that they would acknowledge. They asked Coogan about being a leader. He said it took a few weeks to settle in. Now it's natural, but he's like super confident whenever he talks about leadership, which I think is really cool. And he says he fits the bill to a T of what the center position is looking for. I mean, he's right. You talk about a vocal leader, tough dude, willing to battle for his guys. Like, yeah, that's literally everything Pat Coogan has showed you as a football player.
Yeah, 6'5" too. I think that's important to note. Like, I think there's like a perception on centers that they're like short and stocky, like Jason Kelce, I guess. I mean, he works. Like, what you really want is like quick, right? Like, that's what you really want to look for. And Pat Coogan, like, there's great centers that were 6'6". There's great centers that have been, 6'2", 6'3". Like, Jason Kelce. I don't think Jason Kelce's that short, but
I think he's 6 foot.
Jason Kelce, look up how tall is Jason Kelce? Chat. But I mean, they all come in different shapes and sizes. I mean, we just gotta trust the.
He's 6'3". Kelsey's 6'3".
Yeah, so he's like at the shorter end of what a NFL center would be. So seeing 6'5", like that's just we're seeing NFL quality size. Like that's what you want to look for when you want to make deep runs in the playoff. Go down the list of all. It looks like we have 7 playable guys when Benson and Drew Evans come back.
Are you counting Liebfried? Because he was technically also hurt too.
I'm counting Liebfried just because he was getting snaps last year. Like I think he's though he's hurt, he's in line to play. I think he's going to be a swing guy. I think that he's ready to like 8. Step in, backup role. Yeah. So yeah, exciting.
That's 8 playable guys.
What?
They asked Coogan.
Smith, Evans, Lynch, Benson, Mikowski, Ajani, Liebfried, Coogan. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to count on my fingers.
That's eight.
They asked him about the scrimmages and about the games, about Fernando. He said he's got a ton of poise. He also went out of his way to say that Fernando looks people in the eyes in the huddle, and he said that might not seem like it is a big deal, but it's a huge deal. I think he called him like the commander, like in the battle with you, or something along those lines, and said he's a baller. But just like that just makes so much sense that Fernando Mendoza is just like looking all of his offensive linemen in the eyes and just like telling everybody the plays and like instilling confidence. Like again, you would think that is like just people would do that, but I guess we'd be surprised at like how people don't take that into account. And just see like the type of person, type of player Fernando Mendoza is continues to just be impressive.
It's the little things, you know. I'm curious to hear who's the high school quarterbacks coach, the quarterback guru that kind of taught him that stuff. Because as a guy who's been in an offensive huddle, you have the quarterback looking at you. That instills like a sense of confidence in you, right? Like, hey, we're good. We've done this before. Everything's normal. We're up 30. We're down 30. We're this is the play. I'm Fernando Mendoza. I'm locked in. I'm engaged with you guys. If he just keeps that all game, I mean, it's the little things, man. I mean, I've talked about Mendoza like talent wise, but then he just every time you hear him talk, every little story about him, there's a reason why there's a mass exodus at Cal post spring, guys. Like there's, I'm just saying, yeah, the dude all of a sudden they don't have a quarterback and they're like, oh my God, we don't have Fernando. Like we're screwed. Like I think there's a lot to be like, that's what I thought of when I saw like those 5 Cal running backs at the portal. Like, at first I was like, oh, who the hell is this Cal running backs coach? And then I was kind of thinking like, they lost like some receivers, some tight ends. Like they're just not bought into this offense that's going to be put out by Cal this next year. And man, I haven't seen a guy leave that kind of like absolute bloodbath at
the rest of the roster. Yeah.
Like I've never, obviously the portal changes things, but you just don't see that a ton. And clearly it would take a very high impact guy to cause something like that. And you know, I've made my Andrew Luck comparisons physically to him. I mean, he's a smart kid. You see those little details he has. I mean, he's an absolute junkie. We know that. Like just the ridiculous amount of green flags this kid has. Obviously, we're going to wait for it on the field, and I can't wait for August. But I mean, this is a guy that can really accelerate the schedule that I keep alluding to, like the natty schedule. You know, we talk 6 years, like he can shorten that.
Full blown agree.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing they asked Coogan was the identity of the line. He said that's not going to be answered until week 1, which is a good thing. But then he went to give them an identity, which I thought was funny. Said, we'll give everything they've got. They're tough, physical dudes. That's what you want from your offensive line.
Tough, physical dudes. Period. Ajani starting is what it looks like. You know, Benson.
Yeah, that was awesome. I was going to wait and I was going to hold off. I had spring game takeaways, a lot of spring game takeaways. That was definitely one of them. We could talk Ajani real quick if you want to, or if you want to hold it, we can hold it.
We can hold it.
All right, let's talk D'Angelo Pons.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Pons, All-American, best corner in the Big Ten. He was at the podium, talked about he was asked him if the portal additions motivated Sharp. And he said he definitely motivated him, came a long way in the spring. And he's made a ton of progress. I think that was one of the, I don't want to say it was a surprise because Jamie was telling us last week that he felt like he was the starter and that like he felt pretty good about it. But like going into the spring, you bring in Gandy, you bring in Knighton. Obviously, Knighton's on crutches again, like we don't know why, but you seem like when you go to the portal to bring in guys like that, you think they're coming in to be the starter. And then you look at Jamari Sharp, who's the incumbent on the roster, and he had a really good spring. He earned that starting spot. I thought that was really cool. And obviously, Pond's giving him some flowers here.
Yeah, obviously, as one of the few returning corners, like you'd think he like to start spring, he's going to get those first team nods, but then to hold strong on that spot. Obviously, it seems like Knighton was hurt, but he was able to hold strong to that position over Gandy at least throughout all spring. And yeah, this is a Jamari Sharp guy that played as a freshman under Tom Allen right away. And, you know, that's hard to do at the Big Ten level, play as a freshman, period. So you have a guy like that who's now a senior with the track speed that, Jamie's mentioned before. I mean, it's like I've said, these 4 receivers, we're going to go dime a lot with Knighton. I think there's going to be a time where we're going to see Sharp, Pons, Knighton, and Gandy all on the field together. Like if we play like Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, like that's might be what we have to do, to guard those guys. So to have that option, that flexibility, that many different DBs, I wonder if that's how they pitch it. I wonder if that's how they pitch it to these guys. Like, yeah, you might be a backup, but once we play Ohio State, like we're gonna need you. Like, I wonder if that's how they're pitching it. I might be blowing smoke right now, but
yeah. I mean, listen, you come in with the expectation that, first of all, we say this over and over again, but if this staff brings you in, they believe you're a good football player. They believe you can contribute to the team. So I don't think they like give anybody false hope or false promises. I think they tell them how it is. I think like we believe in your talent. We want you to like come in, compete. If you win the job, great. If not, stay ready because we're going to play everybody.
100%. Love it. Quick side note, they're talking about how we didn't get injuries. Yeah, he ended up going to Texas. I think we really assumed that he'd be coming over, considering he's like best.
We did. We took a lot of liberties last week. Hand up.
Like at the same time, like it turns out he was being recruited by every damn team in the country. So yeah, ended up we missed out on him. It probably reemphasizes their confidence in Stays, and then Nowakowski to H-back. It does make me concerned that West isn't there anymore as like just a pass catching option to have other than Stays at the position. But yeah, we'll see what they do at that position. They only have 5 scholarship guys right now, so they might do some shopping. We'll see. It wasn't really like, I remember going into the last year and being like, I thought Horton was going to be a lot more involved, which he was in some capacity, but he wasn't as involved as I probably thought. So I think they are really more receiver lenient anyways. So if it stays in Nowakowski for the year and Bamba in blocking situations, I think they'll be fine. So yeah. And yeah, LeBron Bond, number 6. Yes, love LeBron Bond. But he's not a tight end. he's awesome. Love LeBron.
No,
love LeBron James, love LeBron Bond. I love all those guys. Yeah.
I was just gonna say to close up the injuries talk real quick. Like when Cignetti said that he expected more from the tight end position, which is something he did say, I believe it was 2 weeks ago. To me, I took that as maybe Stays doesn't look as good as they want. Maybe that was true, but I mean, I don't know if anybody was able to catch the Holden Stays if you weren't at the spring game. The catch he made on that 3rd down, like early in the game, but that was like one of the few videos I was able to see that come out. Like that catch he made was ridiculous. Like tight end, wide receiver, I don't care. Like that, like the body control, the ability to high point the football to go up over a defender, like that was like, to me, that eased all concerns of going after a pass catching tight end. Like as long as he can stay consistent and he's doing the right things in the room, and obviously he's got a great position coach in Grant Kane. Like I think they're okay with the talent that Stays is bringing, and like Mendoza rolling to his left on 3rd down trusted him enough to throw him a jump ball. So I know it was a spring game. I know it doesn't count, and it's just, but like. Still ball, man.
He needs to make good throws. Like
he's got to make good throws. Like first it was a dot, and the catch was even better. So I think they're fans of Stays, and I think they like what he's showing. That would be my guess.
I think we'll be fine without injuries, but it would have been really nice to have Stays and injuries. Just
it also would have been nice to keep Sam West in the room, but like when you're hearing you're going to
have it all, you can't have it all and get a depth linebacker and do all these things. So like I'm just trusting Sig. I'm gonna be bipartisan here. I'm gonna call missing out on injuries a swing and a miss by the Hoosiers because I can't imagine they didn't at least contact him. So yeah, I think they maybe missed out on injuries, and it's we dust ourselves off and we're gonna move on. And yeah, I think we'll be okay with Stays, and yeah, it's gonna be mostly Stays. I mean, Horton got a majority of the tick last year at the position, so could be Stays. Could be a lot of Stays this year.
Right, and it's also going to be game plan dependent. It's going to be package dependent, right? Like Nowakowski's clear, like H-back blocking tight end. Like he's going to be in there for certain packages, 6th offensive line type. Sig went out of his way to talk about he likes his mentality, his attitude, the way he attacks practice. Those are the 2 guys in the tight end room, and I think that's also part of the reason why Sam West left is it's those 2 guys for a majority of the playing time.
Yeah, Bomba's still around too, but he's more of a blocker. I'd like and he commits a lot of penalties. So I would like another like pass catching option. Obviously, if we can find a dual threat, a guy that can do both would be awesome, but those are clearly very hard to come by given injuries, and yeah, we'll see what they do there. Could be a position where they do address, I will say. I would say
Back to
more
the end.
likely than linebacker personally is what I would think.
I'd probably lean the other way. I think it's more likely they get a depth linebacker than a depth tight end because like we're fans of the tight ends in the freshman class right now. So
True.
we'll see.
I do like me some Blake Thierry, but he doesn't even put on weight. And how quickly can he do that? I don't know. He's in track shape like a week ago. So
Yeah, and he's not on campus. But two guys that are on campus, D'Angelo Pons was asked about Byron Baldwin Jr. and Cianta Stewart, C3. He said those guys bring the energy every day. He also said those two had to be told to tone it down a little bit when it came to hitting, which I thought was
Stewart
fun. And Baldwin. Which I
two
thought
biggest
was awesome.
DBs we brought in. Oh, that's
It's
funny.
thumping. Just cool it down a little in practice.
He's 6'3". I guess he's got to show them.
These guys got to control. First of all, they're trying to earn respect.
Hey, I'm a 6'3"
trying to earn
corner.
respect.
I can lay the wood if I need to.
And they also have to learn how to control their bodies a little bit, I would assume, because they're putting on weight. And it's also like if you think about the way Signetti runs his practices, it's very much like we're here to get technical work. Nobody's getting hurt. Like it's technique, and reps. And like, yeah, you're going to be physical and you're going to have contact, but they literally tackled once in the spring. It was the spring game. So you're going to thud most of the time. But as a freshman trying to gain respect of a lot of older guys, I could see why those dudes had to be told to tone it down. That's as a defensive coach, I'm telling you, I'm sure Brian Haynes wasn't very upset when that was happening.
Don't worry, week 2 of fall is coming real soon when we go full pads, Ciante. Don't worry, it'll be here sooner than you think.
But he also D'Angelo did make the note that those guys like came in ready to learn, and that in some way, shape, or form they're going to help the team this year. Like he said, they came in with the right attitude. They put their head down, they worked, and like it is pretty much what everybody's saying about this group of freshmen. Like the way they came in, very cocky, very confident, which is a good thing. I want that in my football players. But you also have to like understand kind of where your role is and how you fit into things. And there's a team that's been doing it for a lot longer than you have going on here. So that's the other thing. It's an adjustment period for both. But like we keep saying, there's so much talent in this room, so much talent.
Ridiculous. It's my favorite position group by far. Might not be our best, but it's my favorite, just depth wise. Excited to see how the Zach Smiths, the Dontre Hendersons of the world really pan out 3 years from now. But at the top, we already have like so many playable guys. It's crazy. So like top to bottom, just love that group. What those coaches are doing over there. It's really good stuff.
They asked Pons about Omar Cooper. He said he's definitely made strides. He's came a long way from last year, which is an exciting thing to hear about a guy like Omar Cooper who was so good last year. And like I've been talking about for a couple weeks. We've been talking about it that the slot is going to unlock something for him, and that the way he attacks the football over the middle of the field and his toughness with the ball in his hands, like plays really well to the inside, plays well everywhere. But to hear that he's like still getting better, it's like you hear that about a lot of the guys in this team. It's like they're just putting in the work. Like there's guys that work and there's guys that don't, and to hear that the guys who you're expecting to be the best guys in this team are the ones constantly putting in the work, it's exciting stuff.
I mean, it's just great to hear. I mean, Cooper was Surratt all-conference guy last year, will be an all-conference guy this year. Cooper was borderline all-conference. You imagine with the strides he takes, he's all-conference this year. And then you have EJ Williams as a little compliment piece. Like, I'm not just throwing three-headed monster out there. I'm just saying those are guys that if we can get all three of those to go 500 yards plus, I mean, this offense has the potential to do it. They love to throw it, and they're super explosive, tons of production, tons of yards to go around. I think, if we can get 1,000 yards from Coop, 1,000 yards from Surratt, 500 from EJ, I mean, that's 2,500 from Fernando right there. We're looking at a pretty good year. So I'm excited to see how they produce throughout the year. So I think it could be a really big year for Cooper and Surratt come December when the award shows are around. Who's getting those all conference nods? And I think we got 2 of them on our roster. So very nice to have.
They asked Pons about Fernando. He said he's mobile, and he made the point to say he scrambles to throw, not to run, which he said a lot of quarterbacks don't do that. Which again, it's like that's what the throw from the pro day tells me when he's rolling out left and he's just like looking down the field to throw the football. Like when he gets out of the pocket, it's not like, oh my God, I'm in a panic, I'm running for my life. His eyes are down the field. He's looking to make throws, make plays, and that element of mobility to like I'm not again. I am not comparing him to Patrick Mahomes.
Or Caleb
That
Williams.
is again, yeah. But like that's what these guys do so well is you watch these elite quarterbacks and they're able to get out of trouble. And it's not that they ran for 6 yards and slid down, is that they ran around the backfield. Somebody was able to shake free down the field and you get blasted for 50, 60 yards. It's like that's the one element that Rourke wasn't able to bring to the offense, largely because he was injured. But a non-injured Curtis Rourke isn't as athletic as Mendoza. So that's really, really exciting for this offense. And then Ponja said he's special, and it's really about his arm strength and mobility. So I'm assuming like Zach Wilson pro day throws type like on the run things from Mendoza this year potentially. His ability is just off the charts.
I've said Andrew Luck before. I mean, it's just he seems like a modern day Andrew Luck. If I'm hearing like who does the throw, the scramble to throw really well, and it might not be like the most mobile guy you can think of. It's Joe Burrow. I mean,
he does. He's very good at it.
Like that type, same type of body. Him and Joe Burrow. I would say Mendoza's probably bigger, but same type of what could be what I would envision maybe in the NFL type of player. Definitely not the dual threat, but can get you a first down.
It's the modern NFL quarterback. Yeah. It's a pocket passer with mobility.
Yeah, and that's what Mendoza is, and he checks all the boxes again. And yeah, just excited. Just can't wait to see that guy on the field because he could be the. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
The last thing they asked Pons about was Rylan Gandy. He said he's got a willingness to learn. He went out of his way to say he meets with Coach Ojong twice a day. And also said he stays late night at the facility working with Coach Ojong. And he's like more than willing to learn from his mistakes. So again, like just like in line with like what we believe there are the type of character guys Cignetti recruits. So Gandy's another one, just like wants to work, wants to get better, like in the facility constantly, like loves football.